Hello, everybody, and welcome to another YouTube Hangout. I'm really excited to be here with a special guest and new friend, Vic Williams from vicwilliams.net. He teaches people how to have audacious growth in their business, and he wanted to interview me, give some tips on how to grow your company, and I said, let's do it. How about we do it as a YouTube Hangout so my audience can learn a little bit about it as well. Vic, welcome aboard, man.
Thanks very much, mate. I appreciate it. Great to be with you.
So I'll turn it over to you. You run the show, ask me whatever questions you have, and I'm pumped to do this.
Excellent, great. Well, just looking at your bio earlier, I noticed that you're into salsa dancing. You got 2 world records.
Yeah.
1 billion entrepreneurs is what your aim is. How does that work?
So I want to help 1 billion entrepreneurs, and then people ask, well, how do you track that? How do you know if you've done it or not? How do you measure? And it's not so much measuring and knowing exactly when I hit it. The idea is that it just focuses my energy on doing big, important work. I want to make sure the projects I'm working on have the potential to have a big impact. And so I don't even know if there are 1 billion entrepreneurs out there. It's not the point. It's much more about making sure that the time I'm spending every day is on impactful projects.
It's touching people in a business context. Fantastic. And the 2 world records, what's that about?
One was for helping set the largest mentoring session. So we had a speed mentoring session in an arena, and I was one of the mentors. And we had 3 minutes with lots of different entrepreneurs. You sit down for 3 minutes and chat, and then the bell rings and another entrepreneur comes in, and every 3 minutes. So it was the world's largest mentoring session, which was fun. And then I also participated in the world's largest QR code that we built to raise money for an organization that was helping entrepreneurs start their companies. So yeah, good times.
Brilliant. Okay. Fantastic. Okay, and then I read as well that you started your first business. Was it your first business at 19, a biotech software company?
The first business that did something, it was when I was 19. I had a whole bunch of other mini trials and errors and failures, but it was biotech software. I was one of 3 owners in the company. I started when I was 19, and I sold it when I was 22.
Fantastic. And what was the driver behind you getting involved in being self-employed in your own business? Was there an emotional thing? Was there a question that you wanted answered? What was the driver behind it?
The driver was fear of regret. I wanted to be a banker. My high school yearbook said I was going to be a banker. That's what I thought I was always going to do. And I had an opportunity to join a company and do this thing, have a startup and try to make a success. At the same time, this was in university, at the same time, I had opportunities from my dream jobs that I thought I wanted. And it was the single hardest decision I'd ever have to make in my life. Take my dream job or do this startup company that wasn't making any money. And I basically just decided, you know what, I can get another job next year. It may not be the same job, but I could always go back and try to get another job later. I didn't know that this opportunity to build this business would still be there in a year. And so I thought, I have to know. I could deal with the failure, but I have to know. So it was the fear of regret that drove me to take that path.
It's often with entrepreneurs, people that go into business for themselves, it's often some kind of fear that drives them into their own business. That's fantastic. I've never actually heard it that way, but we had to talk about your top 10 rules for explosive small business growth. So what we're going to do, if that's all right with you, start from number 10, work on backwards down to number 1, and let's tell people what you think about small business from 10 rules perspective.
All right, let's do it.
I'm going to write them down on the board if that's all right with you.
So I was put on the spot just before we started, so I wrote down 10, and I'm excited to get going with Vic here. So number 10 is the quantity leads to the quality. And the idea here is the quantity leads to the quality.
Yeah.
And the idea here is whatever you're doing in business, you have to have a quality product. You have to have a quality result. If you're making YouTube videos, you need quality videos. Whatever it is, if you want to have success, it comes from quality. But how do you get to the quality? you need quantity. You have to practice. You have to get
Fantastic.
better, right? So my YouTube videos, we've done 4,000 videos. You know, you better get good at something after doing something 4,000 times. And so
if you're not good by then, you better give up, eh?
Yeah, and most people aren't putting in enough quantity, and then they never produce the quality. And so the quality leads to the quantity. Number 9 is work to learn. And the idea here is, I think it's okay. I'm not the guy who says you have to burn all the bridges and just go full time into your business. I think it's okay to have a job and work for somebody else. But the point of working for somebody else is to learn, is to get wisdom, is to understand how the industry works. And so being able to get a job that doesn't just pay the bills, but teaches you something, so that when you go and start your company, you're more likely to have success, I think is really important.
Yeah, very good.
Number 8.
Very good.
Number 8 is model success. And this really saved my first company. And anytime basically I don't know what to do, I've never done something before, I look to who's already accomplished this. And it's what most of my YouTube channel is about, modeling success, finding people who've done amazing things, and what can we learn from their strategies. So I would pick people for kind of advice for entrepreneurs watching. I would say 1 for people who are in your industry, look up to them and see what they've done. And also just people you respect and look up to, you know, even athletes or musicians or artists and entrepreneurs, learn from how they started. And there's a lot of lessons in there that can motivate and inspire you.
Absolutely. Many years ago, even many years ago, a lady that I really look up to, who's really successful, said to me one day, if you want to get somewhere in life, in business, look for that person that was already there, and look at what they've done right. Look at what they've done wrong. Learn the lessons from both, and then model on getting to that. So that's brilliant. Number 8, fantastic.
Number 7, I put build a team. So you're going to have to bring on people if you want to do something big. We're talking explosive growth. You can't do everything yourself. You have limited time and limited abilities. And so if you're doing everything in the business, there'll be, you know, 10 to 20% of the work is actually like your heart and soul and what you could be the best in the world. And the rest is other stuff that you're kind of forced to do to have a success as an entrepreneur. So being able to build a team, to delegate some of those things away so you can focus on what you're really great at, will really contribute to the growth.
That's probably one of the biggest things I've come across as I've coached and trained and worked with entrepreneurs, is a lot of us, and I point to myself, is we want to do everything ourselves, because we think that old adage that says, if you want something done properly, do it yourself. We kind of follow that along, and we're always trying to do stuff ourselves, never realizing that we're not getting the stuff done that needs to be done, because we're always trying to do too much. And that's fantastic. Build a team. Excellent.
I like it. All right. Number 6 was create a morning routine. Create a morning routine. One of the hardest things about entrepreneurship is staying motivated. And you might have one great day. Maybe you listen to Vic. You listen to one of his seminars or an interview, and you get all pumped up and inspired, and you're ready to go. And then you wake up the next day, and it seems to be gone. And so having a morning routine that sets you up for success every day, whatever that is, if it's listening to music, if it's gratitude, if it's reading a book, you know, whatever it is, something to get you in the zone every single day. Because we don't have a boss watching us. You know, in a job, you have a boss. You have to show up on time, or your boss is going to get angry. You have to get the work done, or your boss is going to get angry. You know, as an entrepreneur, yes, our bosses are customers, but you know, who's really pushing you to work hard today? Unless you're up against some crazy deadline, like for the most part, we could all push a little bit harder. We could slack off a little bit less. We could focus our energies a little bit more. And so having a routine to get your mindset right every single morning, I think, is important.
I'm sure you've heard of a guy by the name of Jim Rohn, author, speaker, all that. I remember him saying, motivation is like having a bath. If you don't do it often enough, people kind of notice, and that is so true. If you don't get up and, like you say, have a morning routine, learn stuff that you do every morning that encourages you, motivates you, pretty soon not only you're going to know, but your clients are going to know, your family's going to notice, those people around you are going to notice, because that kind of motivation drops off a cliff.
100%. And it's so important. It's so important. This entrepreneurs just staying motivated every day. Getting in that zone in the morning is super important. So that's number 6.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Number 5 is surround yourself with success. That's the longest one, Vic. That's the most writing you have to do on the list.
And I don't do writing, mate. I'm not great at it. Surround yourself
with success.
With.
So
yeah.
So this ties into the morning routine. But basically having an environment of success around you. You know, if you look at where I am now, you know, these people are up on my wall with intention, right? There's a reason why everybody's up on here. They may not, you know, some people may be recognizable to you, others you may not have any idea who they are. That's okay. Like when I walk in here, it means something to me. I'm energized. I'm ready to go. Part of why I started my YouTube channel was selfish for myself, because I wanted to be surrounded by successful entrepreneurs and what they were doing. I remember I would try to, you know, learn from Elon Musk, back to the model and success idea. I want to learn from Elon Musk. So I'd watch his interviews. And a lot of the content is just not helpful. It's not relevant. It's not inspiring. You know, the questions that people asking him just don't relate to what I'm interested in. And so how do you take that, you know, 8 hours of Elon Musk interviews and condense it down into the 15 minutes of awesomeness? That's what the channel does, right? That's what that's what I started doing. And so being around those people, even if you don't have the one-on-one connections and you're not going to coffee with them, you know, I'll never meet Steve Jobs, obviously, but I can watch his videos and read his books and have that environment around me so that I can learn from him to improve myself, and not just to try to be the next Steve Jobs, but to be a better version of me. So pulling from all these different people, what is that? How is that in your environment? If all you have is people who are telling you can't do things, or reminding you that you don't have the money or the resources or the talent or the ideas or the knowledge, you know, then if you believe them, then you're gonna fail. And so the environment,
you're gonna pretty much end up like them, aren't you?
100%. You are your environment. And so if you want to break free, you have to change your environment. And that's your physical environment, like what you look at every day, but it's also the people you hang out with. It's the books that you read. It's, you know, the what you consume on a daily basis. Are you watching, if you go to YouTube, are you watching videos to enrich you, or are you watching a prank video or, you know, comedy video or something just a waste of time?
So that was actually something with your videos, and that's kind of how this connection came about. Was I can't even remember who directed me to your videos, but watching those kind of things that you put out there about, I don't know, there was something about Steve Jobs, there was Elon Musk, all these guys, you put it 10 this, 10 that, 10 the next thing, and it, like you say, it kind of condenses all those things down into one place, one idea, one group of thoughts together, and you can get that kind of motivation out of it. And I've just seen some of the responses and some of the comments that people have made to those videos, and it kind of makes you think, well, if you're putting that stuff out, people are going to put it back to you, and you kind of surrounding yourself not only with the success of the big names, you know, the Steve Jobs, those sort of guys, but you're also surrounding yourself with the success of the guys that may be succeeding at a smaller level, but are giving you that kind of feedback back into you, which I think is fantastic. And I think you got to kind of have both ends of that scale, don't you?
Yeah, that's a great point. Before I started on YouTube, got my start into this area, I guess, by doing speaking. And I would speak to groups of entrepreneurs and help them out. And I would always leave on a high. I know you feel the same thing after speaking with a group of entrepreneurs. You feel just so rewarded for having kind of picked up some people and improved their lives. And I would find that I would leave that day such a high, and then I would start over the next day and like, oh, what happened? You know, like, oh, I want to do that again.
Drag yourself back up again. Yeah.
And I wasn't speaking every single day. And so what I would do was the emails that I got in from people would send me emails and say, Evan, thank you so much, and all the great things about the comments. I would made a PowerPoint file that I would watch every morning to remind myself of the impact that I was having, right? So some stories that came through, and I would just put the messages on every single day, and I would start that was the beginning of my morning routines, and just remind myself like the work I do is important. Now I'm fortunate in that every day we have hundreds of comments that are new on the channel, and so I don't have to go back to old ones. It's just refresh and there's new ones happening there. But that's a fortunate situation for me now. But when I was starting, I still made it the best I could by reminding myself of all the impact that I did have when I had it.
But that's a great idea. That's actually something I don't think many people have thought of, and I probably haven't. Well, I certainly haven't. Is to take those comments and put it onto a PowerPoint or something like that. That kind of reminds you every day of the impact you're having in people's lives. That's really brilliant, Evan. I'm going to steal that one from you, mate.
All right, cool. I like it. Good. Get some more explosive growth. I like it.
Absolutely.
Where were we? That was number 5. What were we at? Where are we?
Number 5. Yeah.
Okay. 4 is start. That's easy. That's the shortest one for you, Vic. That's the easiest one to write. I gave you the longest into the shortest. 4 is start. And people just don't start. People wait to try to find the perfect thing. What's a perfect way to start? There is no perfect way to start. Just start. Take one step, and then take another step, and then take another step. A lot of people just wait too long to create the perfect plan, and then they never execute on it. And so they have this great idea that they love and that could really serve the world and make a lot of money for them and have a big impact for them in the world, and they just don't do anything about it because they don't know how to start. And so they sit on it, and they die with that idea still left inside them. And so understand there's no perfect place. Just start.
There was an author, Miles Monroe, who passed away a few years ago, and he said the wealthiest place in the world is not the gold mines in South Africa and so on, but rather the wealthiest place in the world is the cemetery in the local town, because there's so many ideas and so many books and so many movies and all that sort of stuff that died with people and is in the cemetery, no use to the world, just simply because they didn't get started. That's fantastic. Brilliant.
Yeah, so don't worry about having a perfect plan. And I think if you go back to modeling success, that idea number, that was number 8. Look at any of the people you look up to and respect, and look at how they started. They didn't start with what they're doing right now, but they started and they did something. So everybody, the plan you think you have in your head is not going to be what actually happens. You still need to have a plan. It's not just, oh, I'm just going to do anything. You try to set a course, but it very rarely works out exactly like you think it's going to work out. You'll have to change and deviate multiple times along the path. So you can't really know until you get out there and start doing. So start.
You can't really know if that thing might work unless you start. As you say, if you don't take that first step, you'll never know if it's going to happen.
100%. All right, number 3.
Right.
Number 3 is follow through.
Follow through.
This is the next step that's been consistently across all of the entrepreneurs that we profiled. They started, and then when they faced some resistance and failure, they continued. They followed through. They persisted. It's one of the most common traits of anybody who's had success in anything.
Absolutely.
I was at a meeting with a Hollywood executive earlier in the month, and he wanted videos. He said, "What video? I'm trying to get my son to follow through more. He has ideas, but he doesn't follow through, and he quits too soon and things. I want him to be more determined and follow through. What video on your channel should I show him?" I'm like, all of them. Like, there's no show me a successful person who has not followed through. It's part of it. If you want to have explosive growth, you can't do it without following through. It's not possible. It's not like if you wanted a video on how to be a better salesperson or a video on how to write a business plan or whatever, then I might be able to guide you somewhere. But about a video about following through, every profile is about following through. So
absolutely,
it has to be included on a list of explosive growth rules.
You've written obviously the book Your One Word, and I've written a book called Audacious Leadership, and both of us know that sitting down to write a book, only the writing is only a part of it. It's if you don't market it, if it never gets printed, if you don't do all those things, it's never actually going to become a relevant book. And follow through there is so important. It's the same golfers, if they don't follow through. I mean, I love playing golf. I don't know about you, but but one of my biggest problems is I get stopped just after I hit the ball, and it goes everywhere. So yeah, follow through is so important.
You're going to hit, in any business, you're going to hit a ton of roadblocks, and you have to follow through them, or you're going to stop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Number two, pursue your passion. This again is consistent across all of the famous entrepreneurs that we profiled. I would say we probably profiled more famous entrepreneurs than anybody on YouTube for sure. Maybe anybody online, I don't know, but there's a lot. And the most consistent message, the single most consistent message people have is that they followed their passion. It is something they were excited to buy. It's the only thing that gets you through. Like it helps you follow through. If you don't have an insane passion for what you're doing, you're not going to follow through. You have to do the thing that you just feel is right to do, even when it doesn't look like it's the practical thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I started helping entrepreneurs, the first thing that I did was I did a speaking gig at the YMCA, and only 3 people showed up to it, and it was a free event. And so, if you can only get 3 people to show up to a free event, how are you ever going to make this a business? Every practical bone in your body would say, okay, go do something else. This isn't a smart thing to do. But I just loved it so much. And so the big decisions in life, I believe you have to make with the heart, and the small ones with the head. And so if you don't have passion for what you're doing, if you just open up a magazine of the 100 hot companies to start in 2017, and you just pick one because it's a hot industry and you have no passion for it, you're not going to succeed.
No, it's going to die within a couple of years, isn't it?
If that, it may die in like a couple of weeks. Try doing something you don't love doing, and you don't love doing it, and you're not making any money doing it. You're going to quit that thing super quick.
Absolutely. Well, it's that passion that's going to drive you through all those tough times when people say you can't, when the bank account's empty, when all those things that go wrong in business, and things go wrong. I mean, I was talking with a guy the other day, and he said, "Oh, Vic, this business that we're starting, we'll do this. This will happen. We'll get this many clients." And it wasn't a month down the road, and he was saying to me, "Oh, geez, I didn't realize this would go wrong, and I didn't realize that would go wrong." Stuff happens, and it's only your passion that's going to drive you through those things to go, hey, you know what? Even if nobody else believes, I'm going to push on through.
That's a good segue to point number 1, Vic.
Fantastic.
Can you guess?
Point number 1.
Can you guess what the number 1 most important thing is?
Evan, I'm not going to take it from you, mate. Yeah, believe. Absolutely.
There it is.
Absolutely.
You have to believe. You got to believe. You got to believe that what you're doing is right. You got to believe that it's going to work out. You got to believe that that this thing is important.
Absolutely.
The most important seed is that a belief. I've seen tons of entrepreneurs have amazing potential in them, the ability to do such fantastic things, but they don't believe they can, and as a result, they don't. And there's a lot of people who, whatever your goal is, for you people watching, there's people who have done much bigger things than what your goal is, and they've started with much less than you already have right now. And they were able to do it because they believed in themselves. And so if I can gift one thing to people, it would be try to spread belief.
Yeah. There's one thing, Evan, that I've noticed. People with less talent, less money, less ability, but with a belief and a passion are the guys that make it. And guys that have got huge talent, loads of degrees behind them, all the presumed ability in the world, money in abundance, but they don't believe, they're not passionate about what they're doing, down the tubes in a hurry. It's just so amazing what that word belief can do in you. If you get up in the morning and it's just like, oh, I can't do this again, and you go, but I believe.
I like that you wrote it bigger than the other ones on the list.
Absolutely. I mean, that thing that you do at the end of every little video that you put out, that's inspiring. That caught me. I mean, it was the first thing that I said to my wife. It's just so awesome to see the passion you speak with about that belief. And yeah, absolutely. Definitely the biggest thing on the whole list.
There we go. We got our 10. We made it.
Fantastic. Okay, so as we wind this up, we've got another 4 minutes or so to go. I noticed on your website, on your bio, you talk about, I think it's Kiva, that you're involved with in raising funds for. What is that all about? Tell us about that, Evan.
Kiva is an organization that connects with microloan groups around the world and basically helps support people who are, the ones that we pick are helping supporting entrepreneurs who are starting their businesses. We've partnered only with groups that are in Africa because it came out of a project with my sister. She has a passion for Africa. And so I think we've raised over $100,000 now for African entrepreneurs.
Wow.
A lot of times, like if you think about what you need to start a business compared to them, a lot of times it's like they need $100 to buy some chickens and build a fence. And then from that, they can support themselves and then start hiring people and like they're being a force for good in their local economy. And it only costs you like $100 to contribute to that. And so we've been raising money to help support entrepreneurs in Africa. You can, using Kiva, it's around the world and it's not just entrepreneurs, but we focus in on African entrepreneurs.
Fantastic. I think it's such a great thing for people to give back. And a lot of people go into business, they start something, they earn a lot of money, and it's all kept internally. It's not giving back. And I commend you. I think it's a fantastic thing you're doing there to give back to the community. Evan, thank you very much for your time. It's been awesome chatting with you. And thank you for your list of 10. I mean, that's just absolutely amazing. And I hope your listeners and your viewers can grab hold of those 10 things and run with them as well. I think that's brilliant. So thank you very much for your time. It's really brilliant chatting with you.
Do you want to hit up one question from the chat?
Yeah.
So Nakiru is asking here, what do you do when you love doing something and do it well, but don't really feel that you should develop it, though everybody tells you go and do it?
Wow. So if you just read that again. Sorry, Evan, I lost you there a second.
So what do you do when you love doing something and do it well, but don't really feel that you should develop it, though everyone tells you go do it?
Oh, tough question that. I mean, I would ask, what's the question behind the question? And for me, the question behind the question would be, is that your passion? Because if it's your passion, it's going to be easy to pick it up. Not only other people telling you to do it, but if you don't feel it's right for you, if it's not, you don't feel it's something you should be doing, maybe it's not the top of your priority list. I would spend a bit of time going, well, let's think this thing through. Is this really what I want for my life, or is it what other people want for me? There's a lot of things I'm really good at. There's a lot of things that I, sort of really good at, and I think I should be doing or want to do, but they're not really my passion. Other people say, hey, do that, it'll work out. But it kind of doesn't work for me. So I would say, think about it a lot more. May not be the thing that's going to drive you through to the end.
Yeah, I'm riding the same wave that Vic is on. There seems to be two contradictory statements in the sentence of you love doing it, but you don't feel you should develop it. So do you actually love doing it or not? I love making YouTube videos and I love helping entrepreneurs and I want to develop it to get better. Like if you really love something, then you want to keep doing it as much as possible and keep developing to get better and better and better and better and better. So I would ask myself, is this really something that you are passionate about? And if it is, then what's the block? Like, are you afraid of charging people for what you feel is your passion and you don't want to charge money for it, you don't want to charge enough for it? But at the core,
I think that's something. Yeah, sorry, Evan. I think that's something that we mentioned right in the beginning when I was talking about the business that you started. And I said it's often people don't do something out of fear. And I'm just that would be the question I would be asking. What is the question behind the question? Is there a fear issue there? I would think it needs a lot more thought.
You gotta love it, Nakiru. You gotta love it. You gotta have the passion for it. Cool.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Vic. Thank you for the time. I appreciate the love, man. and the opportunity to chat.
Evan, it's just been fantastic chatting with you, and I hope we can do this again soon, mate. Thanks very much.
Very cool. Thank you guys for tuning in. Continue to believe, whatever your one word is, and we'll see you soon.
Take care. Cheers.